How can I feel good? I am aware that I, without realizing it, have lost my feelings. I do not belong here anymore. I live in an alien world. I prefer to be left alone, not disturbed by anybody. Now, that is from All Quiet on the Western Front. And I remembered summer used to feel like something when I was a little kid. Like there were feelings that went along with summer. And then I started thinking, and I remembered there were feelings that went along with all kinds of things. I don't feel shit. Like, I feel pain. I feel hurt. I feel bad. I feel bad for people. But, like, as far as positive things, like, I don't feel shit. There's just nothing there. And it's not that there's nothing there. What it is I won't allow myself to feel it because on some level in my head I learned this coping mechanism, this defensive technique that if I never feel happy, if I never feel good, then that can't be taken away from me. Because when I was young, when I was growing up, if I had any kind of like joy or happiness, and someone saw that, it would be used against me, and then I would feel that much worse, and that was the point. So when things like this happen when you're a kid and no one protects you from it, you learn never to feel good because it will just be weaponized against you. Like feeling good is associated with feeling worse because it's just going to be used as an implement to hurt you. So I connected this the other day and began to actually see how I stop myself from feeling anything positive. And that was a cold realization. Like at this point, I knew I was doing it, but I hadn't seen it clearly. And the other day, I saw it very clearly, like with how summer used to feel like something, and I see it in other people. They still have feelings, like they feel things, and I feel nothing. And it's something I'm quite literally doing to myself. It's interesting. Like a coping mechanism developed to protect me from people hurting me and making me feel worse. But the coping mechanism itself weaponized, and I feel never better. So, like, that's kind of interesting, right? A coping mechanism to protect me from like positive or happy feelings being used against me is uh, like the same thing it was born out of. But I never really connected that, and it was something that made me safe, so I clung to it that much tighter. You have to imagine if no one is protecting you, if no one is like guarding you against hostility and cruelty and very ugly things, well, anything that you find that works, you will cling to and never let go. Because why the fuck would I trust why the fuck would I trust any of these people? Like these are the people that hurt me, right? Like, and if they didn't do it, they are fine with it. They are complicit in it. So, like, I know they're just trying to set me up. That's what they all do. That's what people do, is they try to hurt me. So now, that's not necessarily in line with reality. That is my instinct. That is what my brain tells me, that all of them seek to hurt me. Now, the reality is most people don't know I exist. But nevertheless, that perception, like it's interesting because I caught myself in this once too, where I would say, like, I had this antagonistic vision between me and the world, as if the world hates me. And I would occasionally say that to myself. And I would also say they don't care about anything. And I had these two simultaneous views, that the world hates me and that they don't care, like they are indifferent. And one day I finally caught it when I was like, wait, how can they hate you and be indifferent? You're just describing two negative things to them because you don't like them. But as far as acknowledging that I used to have feelings, well, that was something that was far too dangerous at that point. But with this reintroduction of the idea of safety, um, such things have started to unfreeze. And there is apparently another thing too, that when like caretakers hurt you or shut things down in you in like harsh and humiliating ways, that like whatever that thing is that they shut down, you will like carry with you forever. You will never get over it. It will always be like a mark on you unless you like confront it in some meaningful way and like come to terms with it. Um, like it's almost like a different type of memory, and it has to be processed before it can go away. And plenty of people live with it without ever going away. It's about how much it harms your life. If it's something that really, a character quirk, whereas with something like myself, where it's like I don't feel shit, uh like then in my case it's more like, well, so you got to do something about this. Like, um like most of your life you've never felt anything positive. Well, that's not good. Like that's a serious problem. And I think about too when I was in my 20s and stuff, and all the psychiatric medications they would put me on in my late teens and 20s and stuff, and like how much that shit would warp my head. Like ugly, ugly. I'm gonna do a talk on that one time, because psychiatric medication is some sinister shit. And like some people get benefit from it. I'm not a person that says, throw them in the trash. I think they are vastly overprescribed. But anyway, this is about me and unfreezing the feelings. Like, and that for some reason I find that imagery helpful. Frozen feelings and unfreezing feelings, because there are several things that I can remember where I did with feeling and got hurt very bad for it. And eventually it just became like the only way is to have none. And, that's also one of the things that made hard drugs so attractive, is they give positive feelings. It is for a terrible price, a price that really isn't worth it. But, at that time in my life, it seemed fair. But yeah, I remembered having feelings. Like I wasn't always like this. And that was a cold realization. Like Summer had a feeling. Now, granted, like I've said, like things are stronger when you're a kid. All the stimuli is new when you're a kid. That's also why time seemed longer when you were a kid because everything is so much newer. You're taking stuff in. And it's kind of like you're on drugs all the time when you're a kid. Like, because you're high. That's how they can run around and fucking talk to people that aren't there and shit. But things had feelings, like associated with them, and there's nothing now, and there hasn't been since I was like 12 years old, 11 years old, something like that. Yeah, yeah, like that's crazy. Like, and I think I can salvage this somewhat. I don't know exactly how. It's not something. It's a very new concept to me, and I don't really have words for it yet. But this is like a path toward feeling some kind of positive things again. How to feel good. Um, because like that is something I have wondered for most of my life, and the best answer I could give up until very recently was heroin. Um, and like to say that outside of one relationship, and um, that was also rocky. Um, but yeah, I'd say I that there were points there that felt really positively, but I was getting that vicariously through her. Like that's not something I could do on my own, um, and that's one of the reasons I liked her so much. I could feel things through her, and that's not something I can do with most people. Um, Irrelevant, irrelevant. This is not this is not the time or the place. But yes, this is how I will feel good again. Like I know, look, it's right there. I've almost put this all together. Anyway, that's about the most I have to say today. Oh no, it rhymed. No, take it for what it's worth.